Okay, so Python is also one kind of a scripting language. It can be also used as one of the programming language. Okay, so how we are working with shell scripting? So in the real-time scenario, they may ask for, they are looking for the candidate who has at least basic knowledge on Python. Okay, so how we are, so for every programming language, so there is a syntax, like how to work with variables. Okay, so what is the built-in functions? Control statements. Okay, so logical part, we need to write it, but the syntax wise, so if you follow the any kind of a programming language, the syntax will be as per that particular programming language or the scripting language. So they are providing the syntax, we need to follow the syntax. So how you work with the shell scripting? Same thing in the Python also, they will follow the particular syntax. So if you learn the shell scripting, like, that is fine. But the candidate they are looking for the mandatory, they are looking for the Python candidate should have a knowledge of Python, means we should at least know the basics. So if they ask us to write a logic here, so before writing the logic, you should know the syntax, how to write the things. For example, in case of variables, how to work with variables, how to use the print statements, how to do the conditional checkings. Okay, so how to run the loops. Okay, so in case of the Python, we are using the print statement. Okay, when it comes to the shell scripting, so we are going to use the echo statement there. Here, we are not going to use the echo here. We are going to use the print. Print, just will click on execute. So here, directly we are using something like a equal to 10, something like if we are doing the any variable definition. So we can define the variable and we can print directly a. So in case of shell scripting, so if you want to access the variable value, so we are going to append the dollar symbol in the shell scripting. But when it comes to the Python, so no need to append the dollar symbol here. So directly we can define any variable, n number of variables we can define it. So directly we can print that variable by using the variable name itself. So no need to append the dollar symbol. So we need to identify the differences when you are working with shell scripting and Python. So when you are working with shell scripting, so the extension of the file, when you are creating any shell scripting file, so something like we will create the file with .sh. Okay, so when it comes to the Python, .py. .py is the extension of the Python files. Same thing if you are defining, if you are running the file, sh. Okay, we're executing here like this. This is the execution of the shell scripting file. So this is the execution of your Python file. Okay. So same thing if you want to print it. So if you want to go with a so before, like Python, for some systems it will not comes with built-in installation. Okay. So before installation, like we need to check it whether the Python is available or not. So for every software, whether it is really available or not in my system, so we can go and check with the Python hyphen version. So for every software, there will be a version will be there. You can work on any kind of a programming language like Java, anything you take it. So generally we will have the version. So in the market, they are going to work with multiple versions are there. So what is the current version which is running in your system? If somebody asks means we should get the information with the help of versions only. Any software you take, okay, Java, PHP, Python, Node.js, Angular. So these are the different type of programming languages. So if you want to check what is the current version, so we can get with the help of the versions one. So same thing when you are working with Python. So what type of Python it is, like 3 version, 2 version. So 2.x, 3.x, something 3 related version. What is the latest version is getting? Okay. So if you want to get what is the thing. So if it is not working means just we will use Okay, so some things like you will be see pip is one type of the package managers. This is also one type of package manager. Okay, so by using this, we will install the Python. Okay, so if you are launching any server, already defaultly for AWS, the Python is built in, it comes with the OS only. So that's the reason I'm showing here directly. Okay, so mainly Python is designed for, like if you are working on the Python, mainly you are going to see the main thing everywhere, you are going to see indentation error. So indentation error is nothing but, so if you are writing like this, for example, I'm writing if statement. So if, so here, same thing for every control statement, if you are writing it, so everything we should end with colon. Suppose if I am condition checking, if something I'm writing with condition is colon true, writing like this. Immediately after that line, we are doing this print something like true. If else, the condition is same only. But here, if anything, if you are writing anything like if else or conditional statements, so we need to put the special symbol colon. Okay, so if condition is satisfied, then we can use the print statement. So else print it. So indentation error is nothing but, as it is, if you are not, how many spaces you are maintaining from the starting to here. For example, here I'm putting one space. So for here also we need to put one space only. So if you are putting extra space here like this means you will get indentation errors. So the syntax wise, how many lines of the spaces and tabs you are using. For example, I'm using tab here. One tab I'm using here. So if you are using from the starting line, so if you are using more than here like this, two tabs I'm using it. So like that, it will not work in the Python. So the alignment and the spaces which you are giving from the starting line. So how much space you are giving it. So one space means one space, two space means two space. Same thing if you, we should follow for the same thing for this one. Okay, so if you are giving extra space, click on execute. Okay. Okay, so let me, okay. So intentional errors. So what are the spaces if you're not giving the properly? So in that cases, the print statement also else I can give after the print statement. Okay, so here, most of the cases in the Python, you will be seeing this intention error. So even if you follow the syntax correctly, if you're not giving the spaces and alignment properly, in the Python, most of the cases you'll get indentation errors. Okay, so if condition, else condition, anything, whatever the logic, conditional checking logic you are writing it. But so whatever the logic you are writing it, if you're not aligning the spaces, proper spaces, it will not work. Now we can give one space, else. Okay, so this is the one. Mainly, it will follow the indentation error. So this is the common error you will be seeing in the most of the cases in the real-time scenario. Okay, so if you are following the print statement like this. Okay, and the print true statement, expected entire block, if statement you are using means, so at least it is expecting some space. See, I printed the false. Okay, so let us see the servers only. Here, if you see here, let us go to the. So this is about the Python error. So here we don't have like same thing how the shell scripting using the variables. So based upon the value. So you can use print statement. Automatically it will take the data types. No need to define string, no need to define. Okay, so based upon if you are putting in the double quotes, it will be considered as a string. So if you are passing without double quotes, like if you are passing any integer, it will be considered as. So there is no define like we are not going to define any kind of a database data type like this string A, integer B. Okay, okay, decimal C. So we are not going to define any kind of a data type here. So based upon the value assignment here, so in the Python directly based upon the value assigning here. So internally it will consider as an integer. So if you are putting in the double quotes, it is considered as a string. Okay. So like that, if you we can have it. So if you want to delete the variable, so here we are going to use the same thing how we are going to override the value. Here also we can have the override value. So a equal to 10 is there. I'm going to use 100. Same thing we can use print. So if you want to override the same kind of a value, okay. Now you can see. So first I have defined a equal to 10. Now I'm overriding the value. So before overriding the value, after overriding the value will be the same thing how we are overriding the values in the shell scripting. Same thing here also. Same variable if you are defining the multiple times, we can override the value. So now what I'm going to do it. So I'm going to use here del. Delete. Yeah. So I have assigned the value. So I'm printing a value again. So previously I haven't used the del keyword. So deleting the value of A. So what are the value assigned to the A? Now I'm deleting the value. So now I'm printing the A. Okay. So now you can see we are getting the 10 value only. But when you are printing, deleting the A, when I'm trying to printing the A, so A is not defined. Okay. So if you are trying to print it, so we already deleted the variable A. So it is considering we are printing A, trying to print it. So it is not able to identify the A value. Okay. So in that cases, if you want to delete the variable itself, so we can use the del keyword. So if you want to assign the same value to the multiple variables, like A equal to B equal to C equal to D equal to 100. Okay. So if you use print D, so multiple variables, we can define a single value also. I want to, instead of having multiple values to the multiple variables, in the case of like, instead of giving like this same value is there, C equal to 100, D equal to 100. So like this we have it. So multiple values, the same value having the multiple variables, instead of defining the 4 times, 4 lines, instead of defining it. So same thing we can define like this. Yeah, it's already there. Okay, so here you can see D value. Okay, so here we can go with print D. Okay, so print so many values we are printing it. So we can ignore the print. We can go with one print statement. Okay, so if you want to assign the multiple values, multiple assignments also we can do it. So not only the integers, like if you want to go and define the strings also, like A equal to something like name, count, value. 3 variables is there. So I can define one. So something like 100 Python string. Okay. So how many variables we are defining it? The first value will be assigned to the first variable. Second value we can assign to the second variable, and third value we can assign to the variable. So if you are putting in the double quotes, it is considered as a string. So just we can come here, click on execute value. Okay. Hello world. So it is considered as a. Okay. So equal to we have given. So instead of equal to, we can go with comma separated. Okay. So name, comma, count, comma, value. 3 variables I want to define it. So I want to assign the name as a 1 value and count as 100 and value as a Python. So if you want to print Python, only the value of the Python. So if you want to override it, again we can define value equal to same thing. Just overriding is nothing but same variable, we can define the multiple values. So if you want to assign the, instead of having the multiple lines, if you want to go with the single line variable definitions, so we can define with a single variable. Okay, so that is also possible. Okay, so local variables, we have a global variables are there. So local is nothing but we can define within a, something like a thing. So here, whenever I am defining any functions, Python, so we are going to use the keyword called def. Def is the keyword function name. So everything when you are writing any kind of a logic here, so what we will do, def something like if you want to add 2 numbers. This is the function definition. Written. Something you want to return it. So when you are using, if you want to pass any variables here, something like x comma y. Okay, so whenever you are defining any kind of a add numbers, something I can take. So here this colon is very important. Same thing how you are using operators, addition, subtraction, minus, division. Same thing here also it will supporting the variables. So we can use return statement. Okay, so if you want to call this one, we can use print. I want to call this add numbers. So what I can do? So here this is very important. So def is the keyword we will use for defining the functions. There we are using function name. But here in the Python side, so when you are working with the functions, so we have to use the def keyword. Function name. So once the value is done, so we are going to return the value. So printing, so we are calling this function, we are passing the dynamic variables. So let us see. Okay, so 10 plus 20, print, we are printing by calling this function by passing the parameters here. So we can pass the parameters, this value we can assign to the any one of the variables. We are doing addition. If you want to go with subtraction, we can go with subtraction. So we can go with operators. Return is the keyword we are going to use. So once there we are going to use echo print statements. Here print also we can use it, or we can use return the value. What are the output? What are the value is there? So we are returning it. So we keep on. Okay. So def is the keyword. So if they ask us to write any kind of a function here, function name. Okay. Any parameters means we can pass the parameters and colon. So finally, once you write the logic here, so return what are the value you want to write it. So you can call the function. Okay. So directly we can print that function name. And if you want to pass the parameters, so we can pass the parameters. Okay. So they will ask us to write the logic. So same thing, they will ask us to open the compiler. Can you add the two numbers? So I want to iterate the string. I want to calculate the number of vowels in the string. How many times the particular word is repeated in the string. So in that cases, they will ask us to generate a small function for me in Python. So if I pass any parameters to the function, any string. So what we can do? So this string may be varies. Okay. So like the string equal to something like name equal to. So this string name directly we can pass to the function. So here also we can take the, okay, or we can take anything. Okay, so within the function, if you are defining it, the variables that are called as the local variables. So same thing if you want to apply the same thing here like this. Outside the function, if you are defining. Okay, so directly print, we can go with add numbers without passing any parameters. So here, outside of the function, like if you are defining any kind of a variables, those variables we are going to call as a global. So within the function, if you are defining the variables, anything, those are called as a local variables. Same, we can access this one. So return sum. Just click on execute. Same output we are getting it. Okay. So outside the function, if you are defining it, so those are called as a global variables. So inside within the function, if you are defining and accessing the variables, So those variables we are going to call it as a local variables. So able to getting the things, guys, like how to define the variables, how to pass the variables. Okay, indentation errors, defining the functions.
Yes, bro.
Okay. So here mainly in the Python. So here they are going to talk about the data types. Data types is nothing but string, integer. These are the things. So apart from the Python, there is a very important concept like data types called list, tuple, and dictionary. Okay. So if you want to save the data, if you want to retrieve the data, so what are the data we are getting it? So we can collect the data and processing the data, retrieving the data, so manipulating of the data, strings, anything you take it. So it will be rely on your data types only. So those data types are very important. The Python is they are going to discuss about the list, tuple, and dictionary. So if you know how to handle the data, so we can save the multiple values. If you want to iterate the data, either string or integers, anything. So in that cases, so most of the data types in the Python, they are going with list, tuple, and dictionary. Okay, so one of the things is like a list. So these are the list are nothing but, so we can use the list. How can we define the list? So we can take anything like a list is like a something like a variable. So we can define the list in the open bracket and close bracket. So we can have a multiple values in it. Either it is maybe a string or it may be having a integers, something like a collection of multiple values. So list are nothing but like starts with index. Okay, so it's end with, we can have a multiple values are there. So this, if you want to retrieve only first value, if you want to print last value, if you have a multiple values are there. So we can define the multiple values in the open bracket and closed bracket. So list are one of type of data types. So these are called as a compound data types and it can capture the multiple values. And if you want to print the particular value in it, for example, now, so here, so state list. Okay, so I'm going to define one state list. So state list is something like 100. So I'm going with to take anything 1000. Okay, so if you are enclosed between open bracket and closed bracket, so that will be considered as a list here. So list can be collect, like we can define the list contains of multiple values. Each value we can have it like a, so if you want to define your own list also, we can pass empty list. State list, country list equal to, if we are defining own empty list, so we can define the empty list. Already if the values are assigned to the hard-coded values, you can define like this. And if you want to retrieve any kind of a value in, so just open bracket and close the bracket. So if I want to print the index, it starts with index 0, 1, 2, 3. So which value you want to iterate it, we can go with like this. So if you want to use state list, so what we can use, print, that's it. Okay, so if you want to retrieve the, this will be like internally it's an array kind of a thing. So it will starts with index 0, 1, 2, 3. If you want to print some value, okay. So now I want to print from Bangalore to this year. So the index will starts with 0. So I want to print from 1, 2, 3. So if you are, you can have. So this is my index number is 0. I want to print Bangalore to 1000. So the index number starts with 1. Up to which index number you want to print it. This is 0, 1, 2, 3. So up to 3, I want to print it. up to. So if you want to go with up to means up to there only it will print. This will not print here. So we can print. So one is nothing but this is the one index number. So two. Up to here only, before that it will be printing. So I want to get something like a, so whichever is there, after that it may be anything. So it will start with first number, after that how many numbers are there. So if you want to print it, after that everything I want to print it. So my index number starts from here. From here, if you are not defining after colon any value. So from there, which index number you want to print it, from there, how many values are there if you want to print it. So we can print entire thing. So if you want to print from the particular index to the particular index, so we have to define this is the starting index, colon, the next index we need to print it. Okay, so if you want to print the same content twice, thrice, if you want to print it. So what we can do, so we can use I want to print the list values twice, thrice, four times I want to print the same repetitive values. So same 100 Bangalore Assam is one type of my list is there. I want to print twice here. So what we can do, we can here. So here we are going to call this as a slicing mechanism here. Slicing. So what is meant by slicing? Cutting. So where you want to print it. So every list will be start with index number 0. And so reverse of order, if you want to come from this is 0th index. How many values are there? This is the first index, second index, third index. So if you want to print from certain index to certain index means, so that list name and starting index and last index. Which index you want to print it? That index number. So starting index and which index up to which index you want to print it, that index name will specify. So if you want to go with a print from the my starting index, I want to print it, but I want to go with a number of values like up to the end of the entire list. So we can define the starting. If you put empty here, so the starting index you can specify here, but which index number. So if you are not defining the right index value after the colon, so which up to ending of the index, if you are not specifying, it will print the entire list, how many values are there. So same thing if you want to go with the reverse order. Okay, so if you want to go with the reverse order, so we can go with reverse order. So same thing how we are going with 0, 1, 2, 3 here. So here also we have the, this is the -1, -2, -3, -4. Suppose I want to print state list. Just I'm specifying here -1. Okay, so if you see here, -1 is nothing but reverse of this one. Okay, so here reverse of to reverse if you want to print it means same thing we can specify here. Starting index is -1 and colon we are specifying. Okay, you can see starting index is only we can print it. -1 is the reverse one. Print out the reverse. Okay, so here also we can define the -1 index to reverse order. Empty -1. Okay, the reverse order we don't have it. Okay, so reverse order it will not support the printing order. Only it will supporting the index numbers for the reverse order. Okay, so this is the way. This is the way based upon the index number. So we can get the values here. Okay, this is about the list. Whenever you're working with list, so how to add the values to the list. So what are the built-in functions that will be supported for the list? So I will show you a couple of examples here. So even here, one more important function is called a range. So what this exactly will be range will be doing. For example, I want to print based upon the number. So if you are giving as a range as a 10, print Okay, so range, range keyword. So what is this range keyword here? It will help us to. So there we are using the control statements like for I equal to 0, initialization like that we are doing. So but this range is nothing but starting number to that particular number. So range is nothing but how many numbers you want to iterate it or print it. So those many numbers it will be. Okay. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So last number, total 10 numbers will be printed with the range. So including 0. 0 to 9, total is 10. So if you want to go with up to 10th number also, we can go with 11th. Okay. So range is the keyword will help us to the how many numbers you want to have to take it. First 5 numbers, 10 numbers. So this range keyword will help us to the thing. So if you don't want to go with 0, I want to print from the 1. Okay, so here range equal to y, comma up to 5 only I want to print it. So 1 to 6, if you specify, it will be printing 1 to 5 only, specific range. So the last number which we are taking it, you will not print it. Okay, so 1 to 5, if you want to print it, like this. Okay, if you don't specify 1, so if you print only if you are giving the range equal to 6. So it will print 0 to 5. Total 6 values it will be printed. Okay, so if you want to go with a specific one, we can go with 1 comma 6. So if you want to print 1 to 5, okay, so the range is the value, we can define it. Same thing how we are defining the list. So there is a one more concept called, as I told, we have tuple and dictionary. So same thing, we have a dictionary. So dictionary is like a key and value pairs. So here we have to define the key and we have to get the value here. For example, name is the key, the value equal to DevOps. Okay, so value equal to 100. So for in the dictionary, it will be relays on your key and value pair. This is my key. So if you want to have the access to the value, so here dictionary will be defined in the format of open bracket and close flower brackets. Like this will define in the dictionary. Okay, so if you want to assign any value here, for example, I'm going to take state list. We have the colors. Colors equal to, I'm going with empty. Okay, so we can assign the values or we can directly add the values to the dictionary also. So if you want to add any value to the colors, just what we will do, colors. Something like okay, so we are adding the directly we can assign the value here. Colors is the main. So we can define my anything key value here. So print directly we can use colors of okay. So if we are defining here, how we are appending here, so we can define the dictionaries with the help of the key and values. Okay, I want to print all the keys. So what we can do? Print. So what is my dictionary name? Colors dot keys is the built-in function. So if you want to print only the values, built-in function. So we can click on sketch. Okay. Keys are two keys are there. One is 100 and 1 and 100 is my two keys, and values of those things are okay. So if you want to print it, entire dictionary, directly we can print. Okay, so if you print dictionary, so this is entire dictionary. So this is the dictionary. Dictionary there. So this is the key, this is the value. This is the key, this is the value. Okay. So dictionary will be like a key value pair, and it will be defined in the open flower bracket like this. But when it comes to the list, open bracket and close bracket, here flower brackets. So if you want to get the key values, if you want to get the values, we can get the values. Okay. So here we can convert the like one data type to another data type, we can convert it. For example, name equal to something if you are putting in the double quotes 3. So if you are putting in the double quotes, it will be considered as a string. But here, suppose we can use print int. I can use the default functions like int. I can convert into the name. So let us see. Okay, it will be considered as an integer. So we can convert the data types, one data type to another data type. So if you have a Boolean value, so value equal to something like 2.2. Okay, so precision numbers also it will take it, and we can also convert that into the integer. So whatever the value is there, 2.2. So if it is above 2.5, so 2.6, 2.8 means it will consider as a 3. So after 0.5 is there, it will be taking the highest precision value and it will be considered the next number. So for example, if you are defining the same value to 2.8, so it will consider as a 3. So after the point, if it is more than 5 means it will be considered as a 3. If it is less than 0.5 means it will be considered as a this number. Okay. So if you are defining the 2.2, so it will be considered as a 2 here. Okay. Same thing. Don't want to convert into the decimals. I don't want to convert into the things. So I want to print as is means instead of integer, we can go with float. Okay. Just print the value. As it is, if you want to print it directly, we can use the any data type if you don't want to convert it. So directly we can use the print value. So I don't want to, the data type should be always should be the floating pointing or decimal pointing. So we can define the data type here. Something like if the string here it is expecting when you're doing any conversions, we can convert that particular data type into one data type to another data type. We can convert it. So with these are the predefined things are there. Okay. So data type conversions are there, integer is there, string is there. Okay. Same thing, it will be supporting your operators. So if you want to perform any operators here, same thing here, A equal to B equal to 10, same thing we can use print. This is a operator. Just we will use. Okay. So here, if you want to append any text here, just we'll put in the double quotes. Value of A plus B is like this. Okay. Syntax is very important here. So if you want to pass any string, custom string or display some message here. So if you want to, so otherwise we can define something like here C variable, or we can have a okay. So if you want to print something with a custom messages, so we need to pass comma. So we can add addition, subtraction, minus, division. Okay, same thing we can do. B equal to A minus B, E equal to A into B, F equal to. So if you want to percentage, okay, so we can print. So something. Okay, so like that we can have the operators also like addition, subtraction, minus, division, multiplications. Same how we are doing with shell scripting. Same thing here also we can do the same kind of scripting. There we are using the dollar symbol to get the values, but here no need to define the dollar symbol. So remaining all the things are same. Even if you want to comparisons. So comparison operators like equal to, not equal to. Same thing here also we can perform the things. Something like print compare two values. So once you provide in the double quotes, just we need to provide the comma. So whether A equal to B. Okay, so here everything like output it will be showing like a true or false. Okay, so if A equal to B, so A equal to 10, B equal to 20. So if A equal to B, the condition is correct or not. The condition is equal to condition is satisfied, we are going to get the print as a true. If it is not condition is satisfied, so it will be given as a false. True and false only information it will give us. If we change the value to the 10. Okay, so these are the like a comparison operators. So same thing. Equal to is there. You can go with not equal to. Equal to, not equal to symbol, not equal to B. So if you specify here, execute. Okay, true. A equal to B, the condition is satisfied. A not equal to B. Okay, so same thing we can apply the symbols here. Greater than symbols, less than symbols. A equal to greater than B. Condition is failing. So A is less than greater than symbol instead of using greater than symbol. So I can go with. Okay, so here we can apply the conditions. If A is less than B, the condition is satisfied, print true. Okay, else okay, that's it. So what type of logic you want to write it? So we can write the logic. Missing parenthesis print. Okay. else statement. Okay. So here, same thing, A equal to B, we are getting it. The condition is satisfying. We are getting true value. Same thing here, we are checking. If A equal to B is the condition is satisfying, I'm telling to print true. So it is not going to the else statement. So same thing like how we are doing the conditional checking there. So here only thing we need to remember is we need to put this extra things in our Python. Okay. We can compare equal to less than, or we can also compare multiple things less than, or we can check also equal to condition. For example, a equal to 10 is there. Now I'm changing to the 30. Less than or equal to condition. Satisfied. Okay. So less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, less than symbol, greater than symbol, any type of a conditional checking operators, it will be supported. Okay. Equal to, add, subtraction, multiplication, how we are showing the operators. So here also comparison operators. Less than, greater than, equal to, not equal to, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. So multiple things will be supported here. Okay. So next we have a assignment operators. So now already we defined a equal to 30. So now I want to assign the value equal to what we can do. So a plus 5. So I want to increment the 5 value. Adding the extra value to the, now assigning the new value with same operator. So what we can do here. So this is called as assignment operator. 20. So just I'm printing a here. Assignment means nothing but within the same variable value. So we are assigning the new value. So instead of defining the a equal to 20, I'm not defining the 20 here. I'm not defining the 50 here. So I'm adding to the same value. I'm adding the new value to here. So a equal to a plus something we are doing not doing here. So this is also same. This is also same. Both are same. But here, so plus equal to again with the same a value, we are adding the extra value here. Okay. So same thing if you want to print. Just will execute it. Okay. So here a value, first we'll print the a value, then we'll print the b value. Execute. Okay. So a value, it's already 30. We are assigning operator like addition operator we are using. So 30 plus 20 is printing 50. Already b value is 30 is there. So we are separating some value called 5. So we are getting 30 minus 5 is 25. Okay. So like that we can have a division operators, assignment operators, we can have it here. Okay. So this is about the basic introduction about your variables, data types. conditional statements, how to define the functions. Okay, so tomorrow we'll see some more examples in Python and we'll try to close the Python tomorrow itself. Okay, so here Python, like it's not mandatory here, but in the real time scenario, if there is no option, we need to go with the Python. Already somebody has written the Python. So we need to know the syntax, what they exactly they have written it. So if some error comes, how to fix that? So this is the way we have to look the Python thing. Same, if you know one scripting language, it is easy to adapt to the other scripting language. So basically, we should know the syntax rules, how to follow with a particular scripting language. Okay. So tomorrow we'll see some more examples in Python. Okay. Any doubts, any questions, guys?
No, bro.
So tomorrow we'll see some more examples. Okay. Thank you, guys.